Hey, so in this video, I'm going to show you the root of what I believe has brought us millions of dollars in revenue. And it's the little things that are the most powerful. And so in this presentation, I'm going to give you the scripts for how we make prospects sell themselves to you. So this is something that is extremely powerful. Getting a prospect to sell themselves to you. And now this is a presentation I gave about 5 years ago. I gave it at the Mind Body Conference, and I shared the stage with people like Magic Johnson, Ariana Huffington from the Huffington Post. And so the feedback I got was incredible, and I'm here to share this with you today. This is some of the secrets. And so let's jump into it. So you've probably heard the saying, when you try to be everything to everyone, you accomplish being nothing to anyone. And so I'll get into the reason why that's so powerful, but most of you probably will know some of the reasons, but I'm going to get into details about how it can impact your business and why this statement is so important to your business. So today I'm going to give you everything I have that I believe is extremely powerful, that can be dramatically changing to your business, from scripts to our assessments to secrets and pricing sheets. And the pricing sheet in this has changed, and I'll go over the changes that we made and any questions that you might have. So, who am I and why listen to me? So, first off, I want to let you know that I started out in the fitness industry at $8 an hour picking up weights on the floor. I had 2 degrees from a college. I had gone through OCS, officers training for the Marine Corps. I declined my commission as an officer, and I went back to New York City and I started picking up weights off the floor at Equinox. It was a floor shift, and you had the opportunity to pick up clients. And that's how I started my business in the business. And within a few short months, I'd become one of the top trainers in the whole nation. And it just clicked. I knew this was for me. Was super busy with clients, and I got really good at it. And then I became the training manager, where I ran the training departments. I hired, fired, managed trainers, and then I started to go. They send me to locations to clean up training departments. So I would have 40 trainers underneath me, where I would be educating them, hiring them, guiding them, managing them, leading them. And then at one point, I was kind of poached from another location or another gym called Crunch to help do the same thing. And I also consulted with their CEOs and built up their training departments until 2009. I decided to open up my own training location because I wanted more control. I wanted more control of my destiny and my future. And I went and opened up a location in South Carolina. And since then, EarthFit Training Systems has done close to $20 million in revenue. Um, my my system, Back Pain Relief for Life, has done close to $9 million in revenue. And so I'm the owner and creator of EarthFit Systems and Back Pain Relief for Life, and also founder of My Back Pain Coach. I also own a treehouse in the jungle of Costa Rica where I host fitness and health retreats. And I'm currently in Nicaragua now. So I have the freedom that these systems have given me. So I've been able to travel the world. I've been able to go all over Europe, take months off with my family while my business is running. And so hopefully I can share some of these powerful lessons that I've learned through this process. And so if you use the techniques that I share with you today, you'll get happier clients who pay more and promote your business like crazy without having to ask. You'll have more demand for your product and services, the type of clients you're looking for, the knowledge to refine your business or service towards the needs of your client you are attracting, right? So that's the name of the game, really, what it comes down to. Now, a lot of people focus on leads. Leads don't matter if you don't have this stuff that I'm going to get into right now. So you'll also avoid, if you follow these techniques that I show you, tire kickers, time wasters, energy vampires, expending your valuable time and energy, feeling lost and unfocused, hiring employees that are not aligned with the results and mission of what you're doing, which wastes a ton of time and money, more than people can actually imagine. So you'll avoid endless hours and money on people and things that are not in the vision or the intended result. Now, before we can make a prospect sell themselves to you, the foundational work must be done. The first step is you have to have a business built around the type of person that you want to attract your service or products to. So, who is it that you desire to serve, and what makes you come alive when you serve them? That's what you want to find out. That's where you have to create your avatar. So, if you haven't done this yet, this will be powerful for you. So, I want to ask a question. If we know who we want as clients, then shouldn't we interview our clients like we do when we hire our employees? So, let's say that again. If we know who we want as clients, then shouldn't we interview our clients the way we do when we hire employees? Yes, we absolutely sure. We want to make sure they're a good fit for what we have and what we offer. So if you haven't created your avatar, if you don't know who your audience is, you're pissing into the wind, or the lady equivalent. It's a quote from Dan Meredith. And here's a good start for your avatar. So what is your avatar's biggest pain points? What are their daily struggles and frustrations? What language do they speak in? Where do they hang out online? Who do they follow? What have they previously tried and failed at? What income bracket do they fall under? You want to know all those before you even start it. And then this question is extremely powerful. And if you haven't heard of this book that I'm going to speak about in a second, I highly recommend you at least knowing this part of it. I'm going to give you the cliff notes here. So what always happens in the end when you bring on a client that doesn't really want what you have to offer, may not want the results you provide, or is not the client you are looking for? They become detractors. Detractors will ruin your business. It will become a sinking ship, especially if you gain more detractors. And if you don't know how to keep detractors away and gain promoters, then you're lost. And so hopefully in the next second, I'll help guide you on how we do that. So a huge caveat and prerequisite to this: you must have an awesome service or product before you can implement this. This presentation is assuming that you have an awesome service or product already. If not, go back to the drawing board to recreate the service or product to make it amazing and cater to the avatar's needs and wants. So the ultimate question. This is the book I was talking about, and there's a survey question. It's the only survey question that actually matters. So if you haven't done these questions to your clients, I highly recommend you doing this survey now so you know where you stand. So the questions are: would you recommend this product, brand, company to your friends or family? Or how likely are you to recommend this product, brand, service to your friends or colleagues? The respondents are given a sliding scale rating of 0 to 10, 0 being not likely at all, 10 being very likely. If it is not a 9 or 10, your company, service, or product will have a rough future, a very rough future. First, you have to get your business to a 9 or a 10. Then you can start to attract those you want and screen your clients. And so when I first did this survey, because I was so about making the business perfect, the systems perfect, we got 10s all across the board for all of our trainers, for me as an owner, and I was a trainer still as well. And so we were promoting, we got promoted all the time. It wasn't until 9 years in that I did any online marketing. And this is the formula. It has to start here. And so I would get $85 just to sit down with somebody. And then when I sold them, they typically gave me about $300 in the first meeting. So that's $385 cash up front, right? You might know of Alex Hermosi. You hear him talking about how he got $500 cash up front. We've been doing that since 2010 when I implemented this. So we have not had to do any marketing because our clients were promoters, and I'll explain what a promoter is. So the people who give your business a 9 or a 10 on that survey question are your promoters. They're their ideal merchant. They're very satisfied and will trumpet your product or service at any chance they get. Users who are actively marketing or actively market your product by getting behind it. They do the marketing for you. It's the most powerful thing that you'll ever see in the gym. Leads don't really matter, because if you don't have this, If you don't have the root level fixed, the leads will not have a powerful impact when they become clients, and then they're not going to be raving fans. 7 or 8, they are passively satisfied, and 0 to 6, they're detractors. They're fairly unsatisfied with you, most likely to leave you for a competing product or service, and they will destroy your business. They'll complain to clients while they're in training. They'll take the value of your business down. They'll detract from you, and you do not want them in. You want to prevent them from coming into your business. And if they are in your business, you want to get them out ASAP, and you want to find out who they are and either make them happy and turn into a positive, or if they're that type of person that you can't change, you need to get them out quickly. So the ultimate question then suggests the following methodology to analyze the results. So say you do a survey and you find out how many promoters you have and then how many detractors you have. It's promoters minus detractors equals your effective promoters. Now, with my business, we didn't have any detractors. And when it started to get watered down, when I removed myself a little bit from the training and the day-to-day tasks, we had a couple here or there. And mainly it was because they were there from the beginning. And so they had the excellent service in the beginning. And then it started to go downhill once I started to remove myself, because as you know, if you're a business owner, it's going to get watered down slightly as you step away. And that's just part of the process. Now, if you can minimize the detractors while doing that, awesome. But there's always going to be some when that happens. Okay. So many business owners and CEOs are addicted to bad profits, short-term earnings, but alienate customers, right? They create legions of detractors who complain loudly and switch to competitors. You do not want that, and this is part of what I'm going to be sharing with you. So the ultimate question measures net promoters, helps improve them, create a community of passionate advocates, and that's what we want to do. You cannot afford to miss this if you are a growth-minded leader. If you miss this piece, it doesn't matter what you do, you will not be able to figure out what's going on or how to grow or what you need to do to change. So there's a scenario. I call it the trap. And this has to do with the first touch of a prospect. Now, the first time you meet with somebody creates a neural connection. All right. And so if you don't know how to handle that situation, you don't have a script for you or your employees, then you could be fumbling and lose a prospect, a lead, a long-term client. It could be worth, if you saw my other video, each client was worth average $27,000 of our top 100 big spenders, an average. So imagine if I don't have an idea of how to touch that prospect or client in a right way the first time we meet, I could be missing out on $27,000, and you could too. So from the beginning, I came down from New York City. I opened up my own location. In New York City, I was surrounded by the marketing machine of the major gyms that I was running, right? We had thousands of members that I could email to try to get in as training clients. I had the marketing. I had everything was there. Then I moved and I opened up my own location, and I had no clue how to get people in through the door. And I had to figure that out. But the people who did come through the door, they were always curious. They would say, hey, what do you guys do here? How much do you cost, et cetera, et cetera. And I would say things like, oh, well, I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist, and we moved from New York, the highest level, and we blah, 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 blah. And they would kind of shut down and back away, and because I was trying to sell them. And anytime you try to sell somebody, they will shut down. If they feel they're being sold, they will start to shut down. And so what I did is I was listening to this guy, Eben Pagan, like a mastermind group of his, and someone came up with these questions, and a couple questions I took and created a system, and they were so powerful that right away I was able to flip that and get the client to sell themselves by using their energy against them. And I'll explain how it goes. So why was that a trap? It's a trap when a client comes in and starts to ask you questions because they're in control of the conversation. You do not want them in control of the conversation. You want control so you can guide them in the direction that they want. And without them even knowing it, this is how powerful it is. So people hate to be sold, but they love to buy. So if you assist them on the buying, they have no problem with that. If you try to sell them, they will run away. So, so now imagine asking your prospects questions that automatically make them assume that you have the solution without trying to sell them anything. Now, the questions I have are so powerful. You're just asking them questions and you're adding value to their life immediately. So they're going to figure things out through the questions you ask. It's actually coaching questions. And these coaching questions get them to reveal things about themselves that they don't even really know and they haven't thought of yet. So you're going to add value upon first contact and they're going to be happy for it. So when you ask for something later, it's going to be much easier to get them to do something. So again, asking your prospects the question that automatically make them assume that you have the solution without trying to sell them anything, right? If you have a service that 9 or 10 and they've heard great things from a promoter, this process becomes dramatically easier, faster, and more profitable because they are already primed for becoming a client before you made your first contact. So the conversions go up and the profit margins go up. You can charge more, your value's more, your perception is more, everything. So this is what we do upon first contact. And again, I have to stress how important this is. The first contact, if your employees do not know how to handle first contacts eloquently and gracefully and powerfully, you are missing out on tens of thousands of dollars every single time. Now, we don't want detractors, so this process will eliminate those people, but it will funnel people in that will be some of your best clients. So when somebody contacts us, let's say they give us a call on the phone, we go through a script, right? And the script is the same on email, it's just a little different. For example, if someone contacts us and says, hey, I'd like to know more about your place and your pricing, we'd say, okay, great. Thanks for contacting us. The first thing we do is ask a few questions via the phone to see if this is a good fit for you. Can you give us your name and phone number and a good time to reach you at? So that's what we do through the phone. Now, in person, if they walk in, right, we have this is a phone script, but if they walk in, it's the same thing. So we'd say, hi, thanks for calling EarthFit. My name is so-and-so. The caller would ask for more information on prices or whatever it was. And we'd ask, oh, great. How did you hear about us? So we know where to put that in the lead tracker so we can capture data, which is really important. And then we say, we're a personal training facility. Is that something you're interested in? So you want to state who you are and who you're marketing to instantly so that you can not waste any more time, right? You might sit there and talk to the person. They go, oh, I was just looking for a gym, like a regular gym to work out. And so we were a personal training facility and that's all we did. So we would eliminate the riffraff instantly on that. And now this is a thing that you can do to gain goodwill is say, hey, I'm sorry, this isn't a good fit for you, but we can recommend places down the road. And then if you're ever interested or need personal training in the future, you can come back to us. But what I would recommend is the Omni or wherever that is in your local area. And that gives goodwill because it looks like you're not trying to sell them and you don't want them, right? So, okay. So we say, okay, great. The first thing we do is ask a few questions to make sure our program is a good fit for you. Did you have a few minutes now? They say yes. Okay. We get their full name, email, phone number. We get all their info. Now, people are expected to be sold. And as soon as you try to sell them, they will shut down. So I already went over that. We are using their energy against them, right? We're now flipping it on them. They have to sell themselves to us. If they don't sell themselves to us, they're not a client. And this is how you create a velvet rope around your business. And it instantly becomes more valuable because they're not thinking like, wait, they just take every client? No, they're screening their clients. They're actually asking questions to see if they're a good fit, which means most businesses are trying to take as many people as they can. even if you are trying to get as many people as you can, you want to do this because the perception shifts to the client that you're not dying and in need of people to bring into your business. And again, this adds value to their life. So we say, question one, what is your main goal? What do you want to achieve from training? They'll say, oh, well, I want to lose 50 pounds and, burn fat. So you repeat back to them, okay, so what's your biggest challenge with trying to burn fat and lose the 50 pounds on your own? Now, we're asking a powerful question because their answer is why they need us. So we're selling ourselves just by asking a question, right? They're going to have to answer why they need us. So they're going to say something like, well, the biggest challenge is I don't know what to do. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. And so I don't know what to do. And to stop here at question two, what we're doing is we're presenting a sales letter in a format in question. So a sales letter is typically stating the problem, then we agitate the problem, and then we provide the solution or the vision, right? So that's what we're doing. We're stating the problem. They're overweight, 50 pounds. What's their challenge with the problem, right? Now they're stating the issues. Now we go deeper into the problem. So we ask number three, are there any health issues or problems that are being caused by being 50 pounds overweight? And they say, yes, I can't get up to play with my kids. I'm tired all the time. I can't sit on the couch. I just feel terrible. I feel bloated all the time, whatever they say, right? So now we've agitated the problem even more. Now they're expressing why they need you even more. So then we say, okay, and this question is super powerful, and I'll explain why. And the questions, you want to ask them exactly the way they are laid out. Where would you like to see yourself in 6 months to a year from now if you were training consistently? So the way the brain works, before anything can happen in reality, it needs to be visualized in the mind. We have to create a vision. That's why people say, oh, he's a visionary, because they have an idea of what they want to see happen in their mind, and then they go out and do it. So you're creating the spark of inspiration by asking this question, because most likely they haven't even visualized what they want to look like 6 months to a year from now, because they don't even know that that's a thing to do. So you're sparking the inspiration. They literally have to look up and to the left, because this is the compartment of the brain where you create the vision, and you really want them to do that. So if they don't do that, think about it. So like, where do you want to see yourself? Visualize yourself in 6 months to a year from now. So I'd like to be 50 pounds down, but I'd also like to have more muscle. I'd like to see my arms less flabby, right? They'll go more of a description of what they pictured themselves as. So you're writing that down and you're feeding it back to them, because they want to hear what they've just said spit back to them. That's another powerful sales tactic or persuasion tactic. So then we say we were able to get you to lose 50 pounds. You were stronger, you felt healthier, you had more energy. What would that do for you? How would that change your life? Now, this question and the answer to this question is actually the reason why they stepped foot through the door. This is extremely powerful that this question is asked, because they're going to say things like, well, I'd have more confidence. I'd feel better about myself. I'd just be happier, right? So that's the reason that they're there. They're not actually there to lose 50 pounds. And this is so powerful, because I've done testimonials with tons of clients. And one in particular, I remember he had lost 80 pounds. And I kept asking him, so what specific goals have you achieved at EarthFit? And he kept saying things like, well, I feel so much better. I have more energy. And I'd go, and he'd say, well, I don't know. I just feel better. And I'd say, and I go, David, you lost 80 pounds. And, he goes, oh yeah, I'm not even thinking about that. Like, that was just a byproduct of what had happened, right? Because he wasn't even associating what we were doing with his weight. It just happened, but he felt so much better. That's the only thing he could think about. So this is what we want them to get to realize. And these are powerful coaching questions that add value to their life right away. And so this we can use as a free consultation, because it is a consultation, but you're actually selling them in a consultation and they don't know it. So we go through these questions. Now you write down the answers again. Now, optional, this would go after probably number 3. You could ask, what do you think would happen if you didn't start a training routine now? This just tells them like, hey, I would get heavier and I wouldn't take action and I wouldn't see the results. So that's optional. I only use that depending on the person, if I feel it's necessary, if they need a little bit more convincing, maybe. Okay, so this part is extremely important. We say, great, based on the information you gave me, you would be a good fit for the program. And the next step is to set up an assessment. Now, how I say that is extremely important. It's not, I think you're a good fit. It's based on the information you gave me, you would be a good fit for the program. It eliminates the ego. It eliminates any of that stuff. The next step is to set up an assessment. Now, if anybody knows stacking in sales, this is what we're doing to get money up front, and we're providing a ton of value. So imagine if I tell you this over the phone. You've called me and I tell you we're going to do assessment and it's going to include all these things. Let me know in your mind what you think the value would be. So I say, okay, the next step is to set up an assessment. In the assessment, we'll go through your medical history, health history, fitness history, nutrition. I have an advanced technological machine which will graph and print out your lean muscle mass, body composition, your basal metabolic rate. I have a functional movement screen to ensure that you're not promoting injury while moving. And then a strength and endurance test, which is a one-on-one training session to assess your current fitness level. It's kind of like a one-on-one training session. Then we'll review your results and we'll recommend which program works best for you. The assessment takes roughly an hour and costs about $85. What time generally works best for your schedule? Then you book an assessment. So we go right into booking it, right? We mention the money, we go right into booking it, and then we start booking it. So now, if I listed all this out, what do you think the value would be? A one-on-one training session for an hour is roughly going to be about $70 most places. Some places are going to be $150, $200. Just doing the in-body scan, some places charge $100. So this is like a $200 value. It should come across in their mind. So when you ask for $85, it should be like nothing. And that was actually 5 or 6 years ago that we were doing that. It raised in value. So we go right to booking them. We get their info, whatever your system is. We used MindBody, his, her name, right, date of birth. And so once we get all that info in, they're already scheduled, they're kind of already committed. We say, great, how would you like to pay for that? You can do debit card, credit card. We take payment over the phone to book that specific time slot. So if the money becomes an issue, we just tell them, listen, we're very busy. We have to take payment over the phone to block that spot out to ensure that you're going to come. And so we take payment over the phone. And if you have money issues, like obviously that you need to get rid of right away because you have to be confident and easily able to ask for this. So then we take them to the screen where they make the payment, they get an email, and then we say, okay, a few things for the assessment. This is what we want you to do, et cetera, right? So this is the weeding out process. If they don't give you the $85 right now through all that, then we know they're not a good fit, right? And maybe they'll call back later and do it because I've had that happen before. But typically with this process, anybody that was coming in or calling us, we would convert 9 out of 10 on these almost all the time, right? It's a low barrier offer and it gets the person value and you give them coaching up front. So it's really great. So for the final review, we just tell them, a few things to do for the assessment to prepare. Now, you guys don't have to do all the stuff that I mentioned here, right? I actually whittled this down. We used to give 2 full hours of an assessment when I first started out. And then I was like, wow, I can't do this at all. And I went down to an hour. And then by the end, I was doing them in about 35 to 45 minutes. I was just shortening all this stuff as best I could. I was doing a really short movement assessment, like strength test, just to see how they moved. But it's important because building rapport in the one-on-ones is, if I could, I would take every single person one-on-one and then train them one-on-one before putting them in the group session, because we've done the data analysis and the people that were with us one-on-one or started one-on-one, they stay way longer. They spend way more money. They have more rapport and relationship built in with the trainers and the owners because they got that attention from the beginning. So that's something you want to think about. But now let's move on to, and I'll provide this PDF for you guys as well. So if they don't qualify for the program, if they give you a hard time with those questions, if they're like, why are you asking all these questions? They're probably not a good fit, and they're going to be probably annoying as a client. So we need compliance from the beginning. The more compliant a client is, the more their results and success will be. And this is how we built Raving Fans, because we got compliant people in, we gave them very good service and value. They got amazing results, and everybody knew that if you want real results, you go to EarthFit. That's what they knew. And so we had a reputation and a name, and anytime, and we were more expensive, but anytime people were serious about getting fit, they came to us, and then they came more and more and more. So if they were rude, you got to like just let them pass. And I've ended people in the assessment process. I've had to tell them, listen, I don't think this is a good fit for you. So for an example, a lady was a germaphobe and she didn't want to touch the InBody machine. And I said, sorry, I don't think this is going to work out. She was trying to control what happened and didn't happen. And finally she said, no, it's okay. I'll do it. And I said, you sure? Because you're going to be training and there's going to be tons of germs and a lot of things, and we need to tell you what to do. She said, I'll do it. And she still was a problem a little bit, and we had issues with her, but it's just important to know these things so you don't bring on detractors. So, build that goodwill and tell them, hey, based on the information, you're not a good fit for EarthFit, but we'd recommend maybe going to another place, and recommend them to some place. And if they really ask why, you can tell them, listen, we need compliance from now, because if you really want results, you're going to have to follow what we're doing. And if you have a hard time just answering these questions, it probably is foreshadowing of what might come in the future. And we are not open to dealing with those type of things. We want people that we know are going to be compliant and come in and do, etc. Now, if people ask about pricing, I try to prevent them from answering pricing at all costs. But if someone's adamant about it, we'll give a range. And the reason is they don't know the value that they're getting, right? It's not until the assessment where you can really reveal the value that you're going to give in your training program, right? So if you tell them a price and they don't know what you do, then they're going to be turned off by it, right? So, and I think Alex Hormozy says, if you have a Ferrari and it's $10,000 and you're selling it for $10,000, the person is going to find out how to get $10,000 to buy the Ferrari, right? So that's the same case for us. We would have people, their parents paying for it. So they'd come in and they see the value and they figure out a way to get the money. So we put people on a waiting list. We have paid prospects already up front, have paid before they come in for assessments. We have people that could pay to be at the top of the list. And this was paying $85 just to sit down with us. Now, I was converting 9 out of 10 clients with this, sometimes more than that. So they would pay me $85. And towards the end of this, like when I first started out, our minimum program price was $251. Now, this was 2010, right? So now it went to about $325 on average, or the lowest, I should say. So up to $500 a month. So I would get from the person over $400 right away from the beginning, from the get-go, just spending 1 hour with them or less. And that is a contract that's going to be worth about $5,000 to $6,000. So we do our assessments the same way we kind of have those questions laid out. It's all based on psychological aspects of getting the person to understand certain things about us and selling them without really selling them. So for example, we do a medical clearance and informed consent right away. Now, a question, especially with older people, is this going to be safe for me? This will quell a lot of things like, oh, they're doing medical clearance. They're first asking my health history. So instantly they'll put their guard down like, wow, They are professional. They're taking this very seriously. They want to know my health history. They want to know. So you'll build rapport that way as well. Plus, we would have these stuff on file. And when medical issues arise, we would bring these to the paramedics. Like we had a person have a TIA at one point, and we brought it to the paramedics, and the lady said, wow, you guys have better notes than doctors. So this is the reputation that we had because of what we did. So, yeah, we'd ask health history, fitness history, which is a psychological, powerful reason why we'd ask fitness history, because we want to get commitment and see what they've done in the past. And if they haven't done a minimum of 3 months, 2 times a week, then they couldn't have gotten results, right? So we get them to commit. So starting today, how many times a week are you committed to exercising with or without us? And they say, well, with you guys, I don't know. No, it's not with us. We're just asking with or without us. So we can get them to commit to something. Then we go through nutrition history. And then we ask about their goals. We go deeper into the goals. We get the heartstrings about the goals. And then a powerful question that we ask is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to achieving your goals? 10 being the most committed. And most people will say, I'm a 7 or an 8. And then we say, okay, what is preventing you from being a 10? Now we know their objections, right? Well, time and, I just don't know if this is a good fit, or, okay. And then we say, okay, what if I told you all you had to do is come in here less than 90 minutes a week, and we could get you not only the results that you want here, but better than you thought possible? Would that bring you to a 10? Oh, yeah, that would bring me to a 10. So we want to get them to say a 10, because we're getting little commitments before we get the big commitment. Now, this is a thing that we would do, which would just show people, imagine I rolled you up into a giant ball and cut you in half. You see here, you have this much body fat, this much lean muscle, right? So let's go back to the slideshow. So yeah, so basically this is to get them, to show them how much fat they have and then where we want to be. So they have to create the vision. This is where you are. This is where you're going to be. And I'm creating a vision by using my hands, by showing pictures, by showing the next thing, which is the A body and the B body. So we want to show currently, where are you at? Currently, where will you be? And how do we get there? And explaining it to them. And then if you want to do a strength and endurance test, we do that as well through that sheet. I could do a whole hour-long presentation just on the assessment alone. If you're running a fitness business and you really want me to do that, I can do that. By now, you probably have your own systems and you can just incorporate some of these things. So we do the psychology of pricing, and this is our old pricing. We would do per session, and typically we would do a minimum of 2 times a week. So someone would pay for 12 months, $251 per month minimum. And then it was $377 for 3 times a week. And then almost $500 for 4 times a week. So, and later on, we actually eliminated the 2 times a week. So we got more results and better clients. And most people were paying us on average $350 a month. So we shifted from this to weekly payments of about $150. And we would do that because we'd include everything in the week, and it wouldn't be based on sessions. It would be like, hey, you can come in 3 times a week. That's our program. Plus you get nutritional coaching, you get a reassessment, you get this, you get all these bonuses. You get to join in our challenges, etc. Right? This is like a definitely older pricing sheet where we'd have a nutritional ebook. So I created this in about 2010, and we used this for 7 years until we started to shift and saw a shift in the fitness industry. And then we had paid in full specials where they would never discount. We'd give them an extra month for free if they paid in full. So they'd just get extra sessions. And guess what we would do? Hey, if they were 2 times a week people, say you're getting all these extra sessions, you paid in full, what I would do is train 3 times a week, maybe even 4 if you wanted. So people would use a 2 time a week. They use it up in 8 months. And then we're getting another paid in full after that. So I've seen many businesses suffer because they're not doing these simple things. And again, The leads don't matter. It's how you handle the leads and the systems you have. And if you have great systems and great trainers, which is what I specialize in, is onboarding trainers and making them really good so that you can leave your business and they are taking care of things, that's where it becomes extremely powerful. It's what have allowed me to sell my business for $1 million, because I could walk away. I knew it was taken care of and do what I had to do. So yeah, I've seen this happen, and I've helped numerous people in these situations. And people might say, yeah, this works for your business, but I can't adapt it. It can be adapted for any business, specifically fitness and health, fitness professionals, ideally. So I've seen it work for a healer. All right. So here's one example. Mayara, who has a huge following now on YouTube and Instagram, and she created her avatar. She, put out what she wanted. She had no direction, no clarity, no focus, no sales process, no pricing sheet, no program. We put it all together for her using a similar system, and she doubled in a month her prospects, leads, and income. So we'll end on some major mistakes I made. I gave free assessments up front. I did 2 hours for free. Now, it was goodwill to the community, so I think in the end it was a good thing for me, but you don't have to do that. If you use this process, you can get people to pay you right on the time that you're meeting with them, and you're getting someone to pay you up front. It's relatively unheard of unless you have that good reputation, and this is the process for doing it. So the other thing I did wrong is I took on any and every client. So that's why we don't want to do that. We started to eliminate those clients as soon as I figured out this process. And one of the things is not surveying the clients. As I mentioned before, when I did survey the clients, we had all 10s across the board. And so I felt blessed that I created a business from the root level that was like that. But I wish I had known sooner, because it helped me a lot in specific things in specific ways. So what I would recommend is implementing. If you take one thing away from this, it would be the script for the phone calls and the touch of the prospects, and getting that script in your employees' hands so they know exactly how to handle that situation. You get more people in through the door, paying you up front, and therefore converting them into long-term, high-end paying clients. So I hope you guys found this helpful. And any questions, comments, leave it below. Have an awesome day.